All right, so former Deputy HA Secretary Tevi Troy. Secretary, very good to have you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
I was a little startled or just by some of those numbers. I was researching on these various diseases. Now, obviously, there's not necessarily a quid pro quo. You get a health care law and all of a sudden people are living a lot longer and happy and diseases go away. I understand that. But to say the other side is going to make America sick again, you have to acknowledge the fact that over these last 9 years, 8 years or so, Americans have gotten sicker again. And that is in an environment where we have the most sweeping piece of health legislation we've ever seen. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I was really disturbed and unimpressed by Minority Leader Schumer's slogan, this whole idea of Make America Sick Again, obviously taking off on Trump's insightful Make America Great Again, which spoke to the aspirations of the American people to reclaim a greatness that this country has and has had for 2 centuries. And to say Make America Sick Again, it's talking about the worst aspects of America. I didn't like it at all. And I also immediately thought of the point that you were making, Neil, about the life expectancy going down. I mean, could you imagine if under a Republican presidency you'd had life expectancy going down, everyone would say, oh my gosh, it's the fault of the Republicans. It's just...
Oh, they'd immediately... If this happens at the end of a Trump administration, whatever, they're going to say, he's a murderer besides. But you know, you look at all of this, the data. The one thing that startled me is separate that from the higher premiums. And then to say that those increases are the lowest, they're going at the lowest rate of increase we've seen in 50 years, as if a double-digit rate of increase, picking and choosing, cherry-picking, in other words, your rates of increase, and leaving out trends in some states like Arizona, we're going to get to a little later in the broadcast, where it's triple digits. Just sort of even that out and ignore that and say, if not for this health care law, it would have been a lot higher. That's just bogus.
Yeah, and also a lot of the moderation in the health care costs appears to be coming from employer-sponsored care, which is one of the key building blocks of our system, covers 170 million people. And that has to do with a lot of the steps employers took in recent years in order to control their costs. And a lot of that predates the Affordable Care Act. So it's not as a result of the Affordable Care Act that you're seeing some of these moderations. And then in the exchanges themselves, you are seeing these double-digit and sometimes even triple-digit price hikes, which makes the plans in the Obamacare exchanges unaffordable. And to the extent that the administration says that they are affordable, it's only after you get a subsidy. Somebody's paying for that subsidy, and that person is you and me and all taxpayers.
All right, so I'm thinking to myself, Secretary, and you know this stuff inside and out, but I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, which is why I have to go back and look up these statistics. But we're paying more, and it's affected what the people who are not in the Affordable Care Act are paying for insurance and the like. And this I know quite well. We are not living as long. The rate of disease-related deaths is the highest it's been since 1993. You have a chagrin generation facing the real prospect it's not going to do as well as its parents, first time that has ever happened. Those don't seem like big old bragging points to me.
No, absolutely not. There's a very disturbing record, but what I'm hopeful for is that in a new administration, if you can actually cut regulations, cut taxes, bring some sense to the business taxes, which are keeping capital, which keeps capital out of the country, and then, of course, make changes in healthcare, have a new wave of health reform that actually improves healthcare, incentivizes people to purchase healthcare by making it cheaper so that people want to buy the product, then we could have a real resurgence in this country. And I'm always optimistic about America, and my thought has always been bet on America in the long run, because we're going to do great.
All right. Thank you very much, Secretary. Very good seeing you again.
Thank you.